Welcome to another episode of Æternum Mentis. I am Sergio, and you guys are on the commuter sharing this ride home in this gorgeous sunny day of fall. Okay, this is fall 2025, and like things are going to change like pretty dramatically. Obviously, it goes without saying that technology came out lately. We're talking about the ZR, and we're talking about the new Nikons that came out. We're talking about like a whole these new cameras that are coming out. We talked about in the previous episodes. We talked about like the gear acquisition syndrome, which is something that we all have, and it's not just like related to cinematographers, photographers, and stuff like that. Artists have it for their brushes, their pencils, their pens, and stuff like that. Like other people have it for their gear. I personally have like a problem in every single aspect of my life on that side, because I need a massive amount of hard drives. More the monitors, the better. Better keyboards, better mouses, just make me happy. Faster connections, obviously, make me even happier. So that requires like cables, requires all sorts of craziness, which unfortunately does not come cheap. There's also another aspect that is kind of connected and not. And I just thought, why not share this aspect of life of who is in the creative world, but not only who's in the business world. I think is affected in the same way. One of the things that are, I want to say, kind of important in the business is that we have right now two ways of thinking, and this is again not just creative world, any kind of business that you're trying to put out. One is I'm going to say the internet or Instagram meme BS, whatever it is. Just get it out there. Don't make it perfect. So just get it out there. Just get it out there. Almost if there's a rush. Almost if you're on a deadline to get shit out there. Like you have to just push through. You have to constantly be pushing out content. Massive amount of content. It has to be massive. It has to be. It's not even important where it's going. On the other hand, you have like people like I think that I fall a little bit inside this like latter category where basically like I have to have everything perfect down to the T, and I will not release anything that is not absolutely perfect. I'm fighting myself against this because what I want to do is definitely not up to par to the time that I have obviously to spend. Oh, this is really sunny, and there's a lot of it. There's a lot of things, the little micro details, the music, the transitions, and all that stuff that I really want to make perfect, but I gotta let them go. Not everything is a movie, and in this case, that's why the commuter kind of is more an exercise for me to be comfortable in front of the camera, to let go of imperfections, because I have to upload them as they are. There's no way in the world that I'm going to be editing this one to make it a perfect kind of a movie with transitions. It's not the footage, it's not the camera, it's not the reason behind this. And I think everything in some way, shape, or form has to follow a philosophy and a reason to exist, to basically be here. So I really wish that I had like let's say, the guts, the presence, the charisma to be host of a show, but I'm much more comfortable behind the camera rather than in front of a camera. So this is more an exercise to see how I would perform and how I can train myself to be more comfortable in front of the camera without stutters, without the while I'm thinking about the next phrase that's coming up. And so there's a lot that comes into these videos that are not just the videos itself. And so then I go back and forth a little bit and I start talking about or thinking about, why does everybody have to have everything that has to be pushed out at the speed of light, and why we are kind of like, we have like a part of us that wants to be absolutely perfect. Obviously, one cannot be the same as the other. We cannot have things that are absolutely perfect, rushed out in a millisecond. Same thing as I'm going to grab this video, I'm just going to shove it online. I'm not going to put probably any music at all under, and you guys are just going to have like the video right there. Big 18-wheeler, better be careful, like, when you're driving on the road. So, in between these two things, where do you sit? Do you sit between like just hush it out, who gives a crap, you'll get better later, or let's make it perfect and let's make quality content standing out? It's really hard to say that there is one real way to do it. I want to analyze the two things with you, and this one again goes for businesses, creatives, in any kind of realm in life, to be fair. If you're opening a store and you want to make it absolutely perfect, everything down to the T, and then you really want to see how it looks, you really want to analyze how the tiles are going to be colored, you want to analyze how the floors are going to be when you look at them. Well, all these little things, all these little details cause in the construction and the setting up of the store massive delays. And a delay in that case means massive amount of money, because you have to dish out a lot of money for the constructors. Obviously, what do they care? Hey, you want to change the tiles 200 times? Yeah, as frustrated as I'm going to be, you're still going to pay me for the tiles, for the time, and everything that comes with it. And the same thing goes for us. Like, you want to wait for the latest camera to film, that's fantastic. That means that probably you're never going to have like the latest camera unless you literally start pushing out whatever you have as a gear. And it was the same thing. I said, how many transitions do you want to put? You want to wait for, I don't know, the latest version or the latest time that you can spend on the final editing to add a certain noise reduction and all that sort of craziness. Basically, you're delaying the process to have something perfect that probably the public will not even appreciate. Most of the time, I gotta be honest, there's memes about photographers moving these sliders ever so slightly for details that nobody will ever notice, except probably one or two people. And same thing for the movies that I'm editing. There's so many details that I go through and so many reiterations of the same version for details that probably one or two people will notice. Not even the people that are close to me actually notice those details. If you just go outside of the team, and probably even many people inside the team don't even care about those details. But then you have to ask yourselves, are you for the one or two people, or are you for the masses? It's a lot different. The masses are just going to plow through your content, probably, most likely. Between haters, naysayers, and people that don't give a crap about your content, probably you can reduce it of a huge chunk, if not the biggest chunk, that don't really care about your content, don't care about how it's edited, don't care about the camera, don't care about the LUT that you're using, don't care about the effects, don't care about the transition, music in the background. They don't care. It looks good, it's fine, it's not going to be whatever it is, I'm just going to move on. So what that gives you, obviously, is the possibility to open a store extremely quickly. You don't really care. You know, just like throw something on the floor, some glue, epoxy, whatever it is, and just like go with it tomorrow. Who gives a crap? Don't really think about putting a sign up. You know, we just like print something on a vinyl and just like hang it over. Who gives a crap? Yeah, that's fine. And then obviously, like, same thing for us for video. Yeah, I just slap it together and just let it go. Then it's just a video. Nobody's gonna really look at it. Let's move on to the next one, and to the next one, and to the next one. But that also is gonna define who you are, and that defines who I am. So every time I'm trying to do something, and I try to do it with the very, very limited amount of time that I have during the day, for me to make the most of it, the most luxurious piece that I can give, the best print that I can give, the best laser engrave that I can give, the best, I don't know, design, website, logo, whatever it is, for me, it's a way of growing, to become something and somebody better, to have like more skills that can help me out, to do something that is different from other people do. I don't like to be in the masses. I just want to be my own. And here then there's another, basically kind of another wrench that's been thrown inside all these cogs to see if this is actually true. The use of AI. We need AI because we need massive amount of content going up there. So now we have AI that writes our content, that posts our content, and then we have bots that basically are AI generated that goes and just gives us views on our content and generates ads for our content, which then click bots from Facebook and Google, which are now a known fact, basically click on, and nobody ever truly engages with your content, and they don't really care who you are. The numbers are fairly easy to understand. If you go to any account that has in the millions of people that are following them, and then for every single post they have 400, 300, 2,000, that means that there's not a real engagement. Most likely they're purchased, most likely they're bots. So it's just basically all a fake world made by fake numbers, made by fake engagement, means everything that is fake, 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 and over fake. Do we truly need to go through all this? It's basically makes you stand in a kind of on a forked road, and you have only two options. One, you can decide to be fake and grab everything that you have and start purchasing followers and just like put out shitty content. And who gives a crap? It's not important. We got to move on. We got to move on. We got to move on. The time that you're going fast, as fast as you're going, you have to understand where is it that you're going at the end. Who do you want to be? I don't really have a lot of time on my hand. I work about 18 hours on the low end, sometimes 16, 15 hours if I'm really, really lucky and I get to spend this time. And there's the commute and there's like so many things that happen. That makes it very, very hard for me to just dish out content that is crap. This content as a commuter, I don't believe that it's the best content that I can generate. Definitely, it's not the worst that is out there, but does this make me happy? I think it's a way for me to communicate with the people that are going to be watching this video, saying you're not alone. The process that is making you frustrated because AI can generate with a prompt what a photo shoot will require weeks of organization, hours and hours and hours of shooting, then days, if not weeks, if not months of culling, editing, and all that stuff, to then end up probably something that you don't even properly love because it's much different from a prompt. But we're just pushing out stuff because we gotta push out stuff. Like we just gotta push it out. It's not a matter of quality. It's not a matter of true feeling for the art anymore. It's not a matter of having like an email that is written with grammatical error that could actually have your touch into the email, even a normal email. Now it's written by Grammarly, which is written by AI, and it's written by ChatGPT. We don't even go on websites anymore because now we have like the AI that is killing the visits on the website, which goes, reads the information for us, and gives us a summary, which is basically what we want. Instead of trolling through, analyzing stuff, and trying to read, even this was taken away from us with AI. So we're just pushing out stuff to be faster, to be more productive, to push out more stuff that has zero value, zero meaning, and in all fairness, it doesn't even look that good. So at a certain point, I asked myself, like, do I really want to be part of this kind of, I don't know, these kind of like content creators that just have to push out stuff? Or can I be different? Would I have any followers? Would followers like the stuff that I'm doing? Do I have to be on Instagram compared to Vero or Pinterest or anywhere else? So there's a lot of questions that start to come up. And I came to kind of a cool conclusion, at least for me, and it works for me. But before this, I want to just put a small little parenthesis. There is a little part of me that envies the content creators that I follow. I follow content creators that are in a van, they're traveling around the world, driving a van, living in a van, and generating great content. It's not amazing content. They could have done so much more, but it's good content. It's good enough. So what they do is that now it's the trend of basically chopping the video in small little pieces. There's not even almost like a story related to it. They're just like chopping in order to get the entire story that they could have said in just fractions of a second, having these kind of ugly cuts. They're called jump cuts, but now it become one jump cut behind the other, behind the other, behind the other, behind the other, and it became kind of a theme. Now everybody does it, so there's no real need for video editing anymore. We just like chop, cut, slice, and dice, and that's about it. There's no time to enjoy a scene. We don't even enjoy the making of it and showing at the end product. Even in the making of the videos, they're basically going so fast. They snap their fingers, everything is done. You don't even see it at the end. We can't even like enjoy for a few seconds lingering on the beauty of the art piece. They'll chop, slice, and dice these jump cuts between one and the other, and you understand, okay, nothing, and you're going through it, and you just look at it, it's like, okay, let's move on to the next one. You're not attached to it. You don't form any form of attachment to the content, no form of attachment of who is creating the art, because at the end, you don't show me the art. Now, I'm not saying that everybody does this. I'm saying that this is one of the many trends that are happening. And in all fairness, I don't really think that it's kind of a cool way to be part of something that I don't want to be part of. And I do envy the people that do it, that go out and have time to generate their content. If I had a computer and I was on the road, and I don't know how they do make money, maybe some sponsorships, maybe there's some initial cash that comes from parents and stuff like that. I don't know. The fact is that I don't want to even speculate because, again, I don't know. They don't really reveal it. Many of them worked a lot before. They accumulated a little bit of money. They accumulated a little bit of followings. And from there on, they basically started their journey as content creators. But again, this is just another of, let's say, the many strange things that happen in this society, in this moment, when people can actually start saying, I'm not going to be in a cubicle for the rest of my life. I'm not even going to start in a cubicle. I'm not going to be bagging groceries at the supermarket. I want to do something with my life. So that little bit of envy, I got to be honest, is there. I'm very lucky because the job that I have, and it came absolutely as a fluke, was led me to where I am right now, which is probably in one of the best companies that I've ever been in my entire life. And I get the chance to travel, to edit shows, and to be part of something that I feel that is bigger than me. And this entire moment in my life where I can just dedicate very little to my personal projects is something that I'm fine with, because it allows me to first start learning that yes, you have to be perfect, but then sometimes you just got to get the work done and hush it out. So there's a lot of different things that happen when you're basically in between these two kind of worlds. But I'm still going to be honest that I don't think I like it. I still prefer that I don't put a carousel on my Instagram, because I want everybody to linger on the photo. I don't want the last photo of the carousel not to be seen, because the hours that I put in, or the beauty that I personally see in that photo, should not be just left behind. The website that I have, which is æternummentis.com or sergiosparavecchia.com, is basically, it's a work in progress. So right now, I'm telling you already, it looks very bad. And there's so much content that is missing, but I'm working on it. And it's live because whoever's following me as a journey is not going to have the perfect product as a packaged in a plastic bag, ready for you to consume and then to discard. It's a journey. I'm making my website perfect, and I'm making my videos perfect. And you guys are going to be part of the journey if you guys decide to follow me and to be with me. In your business, or whoever's like following in your business, we tend to then follow these trends. Do they work? Well, the problem is that everybody is doing them, so we don't really have like something opposite that doesn't work. But there are some people that slow down, even in the world of social media, where everybody has to be sped up at the speed of light and has to push out a whole bunch of shit. There is people that actually slow down and that create something that is unique. The problem with social media then is like the opposite side, is that whoever is consuming their content doesn't share, doesn't like, they don't give you that kind of push to say, I want to continue this, I want to help you out continuing this. Ironically, there's nothing to do there. You don't have to put hand on your wallet, you have to punch in your credit card information. There's nothing for you really to do. The only thing that you got to do is just support your artist, saying that you like it, repurpose, and break the algorithm, which is very, very easy to break. Everybody just has to reshare on, just by sharing the content that they like the most. Now, I don't want to focus all entire life onto social media, because that wouldn't even be fair. But I bet that there's like, I don't know, rappers or some sort of person that created some sort of ugly shoe, and for whatever reason, I don't know, like a flip-flops, a shower shoe, whatever it is, and you guys are going to support them by buying it just to be in the trend, to not be left out. Because I understand that this day and age, teenagers more than ever find themselves in a moment where they want to feel accepted, and not having that kind of socks inside a shower shoe for them is kind of not a way to being accepted. And I personally hate that. I'll never be going out with socks inside a pair of slides, but it goes without saying that if that is like the thing that makes you accepted by another person, well, that is your problem. I will never want to be accepted. Even if I was accepted at the highest level and I had to wear, I don't know, socks and Birkenstocks, well, probably I'm never going to be accepted. But the entire point is I prefer to be original. I prefer to be non-seen, to completely disappear, to be hated if that has to be the path that I have to go through, but be who I am. Not sponsored by Clark's, but I kind of like Clark's. I like to have like a nice pair of pants on. I like to dress sports, and I like to be considered for who I am, whether my content, my images, and everything that I do. Is this going to bring some sort of return? Well, maybe my numbers on social media say no, but the few people that actually know what I bring to their table, whether it was the design of their logo, whether it was the design of their campaign, it was for them. It was literally built, designed, tailored, custom tailored, and made for them, for their company, for their business, for the person that they believe that they are. And I don't believe that many people went through this entire video of the Commuter and reached this point right here. But who are you? Are you the person that just has to dish out shit? Like it's just like a massive amount of stupid content going out? Or you are the person that can actually create something different, to tread your own path, you create the trend. You be the person that creates the trend compared to just following the trend. And I know, numbers sometimes get very scary because we see people that are just basically there with a camera, with their phone, and just put in front of themselves, and they eat all day. That's all they do. They just eat. They just constantly eat. And for some reason, there's a massive amount of people that are interested, amazed, or that actually follow this kind of content. If you're that kind of person, you're definitely not watching my video. If you're the person that reached this part here, you have to understand that numbers, at a certain degree, they don't really matter. It's what you're doing. I don't recall exactly if it was Andy Warhol, so please take this as a grain of salt. But what he basically said just continue to do art. Always do art. Do more art. And just let it out there. Let other people decide if it's good or bad. And by the time they're deciding, whenever they decide if it's good or bad art, you basically continue to do art. You even do more art and continue to do art. And I love this. The only thing that I believe was a little bit misleading in how people got this message is that you got to dish out nonsense. You just got to push out stuff. And I don't believe that that is where I want to be. And I don't believe that the place where anybody should want to be. But the entire point is that you have a chance to now continue to put out art, not stuff. Continue to put out art. Continue to create. I'm creating right now my personal book. It's I've been doing publications forever. I had one of probably the most incredible magazines that I've ever felt the honor to create, which was In Spades magazine. Then we went on and created even better and bigger magazines, newspapers, all sorts of stuff, and I've always been blessed by having a chance to do this. The point is that I never did it for myself, for my photos, to honor the models that worked with me, to honor the people that led me on trips, that gave me the chance then to explore the world around me. So right now I'm going to start the process of doing my own stuff. In order for me to do my own stuff, which is my art, I don't want to push my art or whatever it is, my photo, and push it out as it is. I want to really work on them. And I'm going to bring you along this journey. I'm going to have the camera close to me, and the same way we're doing the commuter, you guys are going to be with me just inside my studio, and we're just going to be going through the photos, the editing. I'll share my screen. I will go step by step. It's going to be another process of just sharing how things happen in the creative mind, not the packaged, quickly cut, slashed, dashed with a little bit of music in the background and the product how it came out. Most of the time, the creative process is not that. It's the exact opposite. You try, and at the end, it looks horrible until the point that you get it and you try again, and it looks even worse. And probably, just probably, maybe, you'll get it the third, the fourth time, and that becomes your masterpiece. And that's what I want to do. I want to flood my pages with masterpieces, not with stuff. I want to have a book that collects my masterpiece, not stuff. And I'm going back to book and to print because I don't think there's anything better in the world to see my prints on a book, collected on a book, just like on extremely luxurious paper, hardcover, 30 times 30 centimeters, which is a huge book. And so I believe that this is the way I want to kind of have this represent who I am. So the cover is going to be a struggle. The first page is going to be a struggle. The articles, the words that I'm going to be putting on there are going to be a struggle. But a struggle doesn't mean that I'm going to go in ChatGPT and I'm going to make it right for me. The same way I'm not going to go in ChatGPT or any other AI software. I'm going to make them add pixels and modify pixels on my images. That would be a disgrace to my art. It'd be a disgrace to photography. It'd be a disgrace to the skills that I have, whether it's editing or taking the photo. So everything done will be 100% mine. And it's going to be good or bad, however it is. It's going to be what I believe it should be. This is the Commuter, and thank you so much for being with me. I'm finally reached my office, and now we start all over again. Thank you for being with me, Sergio, and welcome to my life.